Imagine a place where the sun kisses the ocean and nature's magic comes alive. Welcome to Costa Rica, a place where adventure meets serenity and every moment feels like a new beginning. Embark on thrilling excursions like horseback riding to hidden waterfalls, where the beauty of nature takes your breath away. Feel the rush as you conquer jungle trails on an ATV, discovering hidden gems around every turn. Savor the flavors of Costa Rica with fresh local cuisine that will leave you craving more. Let the vibrant energy of nature rejuvenate your soul and embrace the Pura Vida lifestyle, a life of pure joy of living in the moment. Whether you seek relaxation or adventure, Costa Rica offers a perfect blend of both, all while connecting with incredible singles just like you. Come experience the magic of Costa Rica with our host site, Tour Hero, and myself as your personal guide. An unforgettable adventure awaits where you'll leave feeling transformed. Good afternoon. It's almost afternoon. It's 11:55. All right, I'm headed to Charlottesville, which is about an hour outside of Richmond, to pick up my daughter. And I wanted to address, I'm trying to decide if I need to put on my shades or not, because it is very bright and sunny out here. But I want to address for my 50 and over crowd. And if you are 48 or 49, okay, I would put yourself in this crowd. We're going to talk about what dating looks like, finding your person looks like if you're 50 and up. But I want to include the 48 to 49-year-olds because you're getting pretty close. And you have got to, here's the biggest thing. This is the biggest barrier. The biggest barrier to people who are 40-something and older, this is the biggest barrier to you all finding your person. So you know the saying that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? That's a very popular saying the old folks used to say. And it is believed that the older people get, the more set in their ways they are. So really, if I'm being honest, the biggest barrier is people, men and women, who are 40-something, 50-ish, when you do not know how to adapt, when you do not know how to be flexible, when you do not know how to be open. If you do not score high in openness, if you are not able to adapt, okay, you're going to have a really hard time, because that's what healthy relationships require. And that's what younger people are naturally that way. They are naturally open. They are naturally curious, unless they got trust issues early on. There are, of course, younger people who've been traumatized by their family of origin or traumatized by some early relationship they've been in, whether it's high school or college. And yes, those younger people become more and more rigid the more trauma that you've been through. But it behooves you, if you are late 40s and 50 and above, it's going to behoove you to do the work, the inner work, the work you have been running from your whole life. It will behoove you to heal your wounds and your traumas, your multiple divorces, your multiple breakups, or if you've had multiple relationships and had kids with those people and live with, you got to clean all of that up. All that got to get cleaned up, because you bring in all of that stuff. You're bringing all of that baggage to this new situation. And can I be real? Like most older people, we have a low tolerance. Like we have a low tolerance for foolishness. Okay. That's another thing. Older people, especially if you're interested in dating somebody close to your age, see, we have a low tolerance for the nonsense, right? If a man promised to call me Friday at 8 and it don't happen, and let's say he called me first thing Saturday morning, oh, I came in from a long day I caught myself sitting down on the couch and I fell asleep until 4 in the morning. Okay. And let that happen again. Okay. Let something like that happen again. Oh yeah, I'm going to call you Sunday morning before church. And you don't call? Like, my BS meter is on 1,000. I don't have a lot of time for the foolishness. So you have to come correct the first time. Okay, maybe the second time. But after the second time, like, I had a dude do that twice. There was no 3 strikes. I was good. I was good. I was straight. Don't promise me you're going to do something and don't do it. I'm good. Okay, but we have very low tolerance for nonsense. So that's another thing you need to know. So if you are old fool, what I call an old fool, you've been doing things a certain way for a long time and clocking all these years and not learning anything, not learning no valuable life lessons, not learning how to conduct yourself and govern yourself. And you want to step to somebody that is wise, someone who's actually learned from their mistakes, someone who's actually, figured some things out. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Go on over there. Like, oh, I've been this way for a long time. I've been running game for a long time. Don't come over here. Do not come over here. That's the energy that I tend to carry. That's why men are like, nah, I'm good. I'm not even gonna go over there to Anita because, I'm still on that BS. I'm still on that BS, and I know Anita ain't having it. Nope. I sure ain't. So, but you have got to be flexible. You got to be open. You have to adapt, right? So let me tell you the biggest thing I will have to learn to adapt to. I would have to learn to adapt to sleeping next to someone because I truly love the situation I got right now. I truly love it. Love it. Okay? I got a big old king bed and I just love it. I love having that bed to myself. I love everything about my bed, okay? And the thought of sharing it with someone, man, that's what I need to work on. I know I would need to work on that. And look, I've already told y'all that my ideal scenario, if I were to get remarried, my ideal scenario in my perfect world, he and I would have separate bedrooms. Like, he would have his own bedroom and bathroom. I would have my own bedroom and bathroom. And we would have sleepovers. We would take turns sleeping in each other's room, but we would not, like, lay next to each other every night. That's my ideal setup. I have not found a man yet that thought that was a good idea. Most of them are like, what? No, I don't want to do that. So I will have to adapt because my husband may say, no, Anita, we're not doing that. We have a king size bed and, we can cuddle, but we can also go to our side of the bed. Like, we can figure it out. And no, we're not doing that. Okay. And then I will have to adapt. But I'm not going to lie. I like what I have going on. I like keeping my room spotless. My room is spotless. My bed is made every day. My room smells good and fresh. And I love all of that. I'd love to keep that going. But guess what? If I'm going to share space with a man, if I'm going to share my space with a man, it might get a little funky. See, that's the part I ain't looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to sharing a bathroom. I'm not looking forward to sharing a bedroom. Outside of that, I think I'm good. Like, I think I'm good. I think for the most part, like I told y'all, I don't go around dating a bunch of broken people and re-traumatizing myself. I don't sleep around. I'm not doing any of that. So I'm pretty fresh. Like, once I have processed the trauma of my divorce, now that was 22 years ago. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm fresh. I'm good. I'm new. And like I told y'all, it's like it never even happened. If I hadn't had kids, it's like it never even happened. That's how healed I am, okay? My children are a witness to the fact that I was married. Because outside of them, It's like it never even happened. But do that inner work. Process all of those breakups. And I haven't had, and that's another thing, I have not had many breakups. So I dated 2 gentlemen since I was divorced. Like, yeah, I really, and look, they weren't toxic. I have dated 2 good dudes, seriously. I've dated 2 good dudes in a serious way, been in a relationship, been their woman, and neither one of them was toxic. Like, they were good dudes. In the end, we were not compatible. We were not compatible long term, but they were not good dudes. They were not bad dudes. They were not abusing me and neglecting me and cheating on me and lying to me and all. No, none of that was happening. So again, when men say to me, okay, well, you seem, unjaded. You seem relatively fresh. You seem like, you seem cool. I'm like, yeah, because I am. Because I am. If I've learned nothing else from my marriage, do not choose, narcissistic, toxic men. Do not choose men who are broken. Do not choose men who are wounded. Do not choose a bad man. That was the greatest lesson I learned is, Anita, yo picking. That picking, you got to fix that picking. Do not choose these type of men. And once I learned that lesson, I never forgot it. So that's why when women tell me, let's keep it real. Gentlemen, when a woman tells you that all the men out here are narcissistic or she's had multiple narcissistic relationships, they're not the problem. She's the problem. I have had one narcissistic personality disordered person that I was in a relationship with. And it just so happened that I was married to that person. Outside of that, that's the only person I've ever dealt with that issue. So just know that if a woman is telling you, most men, I'm eating my protein yogurt, y'all. Most men are narcissistic. Most men are sociopaths. Most men are psychopaths. No, baby, it's you. That's what you attracted to. That's what you like. Can we be honest? That's what you like. Okay? That's the energetic frequency that you on. But I made it my business. I will never be back on that frequency again. Never. And I can smell it a mile away. A man don't even have to fully walk up on me for me to figure out he's bad news. He's bad news. He bad news. Y'all, but see, y'all not willing to do that work. You're not willing to go inside of yourself and heal the parts of you that want to be chosen, that want to be picked, that got abandonment issues, got daddy issues, got mommy issues, all these issues. You don't want to do that because that's the protection. I keep telling y'all, when you say, well, how do I keep from dating narcissists and how do I protect you do the inner work. You love yourself. You determine your worth and value as a woman. And you never accept less. That's the work. And look, as soon as the man treat me a certain way, I'm like, well, this is good. I'm good. Like, that's it. That's the defining factor. Is how does this man treat me? How do I feel dating him? How do I feel with him? How do I feel in between the dates with him? Because sometimes, y'all, let's be honest, and I've been through this, where the dates were fabulous. Like the times we would see each other was like a dream. But you know what really sucked is in between those dates. In between those dates was horrible. It was like a roller coaster. You didn't know when they were going to call. You didn't know when they were going to text. You didn't know when you were going to see them again. They were inconsistent. All the things. So you got to look at all of that. Okay? You got to look at all of that. How do I feel with this person? How is this person treating me? And stop making excuses. I keep telling the ladies, why are you making excuses for a grown behind man? I told y'all, every time I'm out in the world, every time I'm in a major city, all I have to do is look around and look up at the skyscrapers and just look at everything. Men built all of it. Men created all of it. Every time I look at a car, every time I look at a computer, every time I look at my phone, I'm just like, a man created this. A man had the foresight to create this. And yet, he can't call you at the time he promised on Friday. Nah, you're never going to get me to believe that. You're not. And look, the truth is a lot of men don't have the capacity. That's what they're afraid to tell you. I don't have the capacity to show up consistently. I don't have the capacity to keep my word. I have stuff going on within me that makes it hard for me to show up for you. I can't even show up for myself. So a lot of men don't have the capacity. But guess what? That's called none of your business. Because guess what y'all do? Then you start making excuses. Well, his mama, his daddy, his first wife, his baby mom, his kids. That's none of my business. That's none of my business. Let me tell you when it would be my business. Because I've been talking to people about empathy and compassion. And believe it or not, I have a lot of it. Let me tell you when it would be my business. It's my business if it's my brother. It's my business if it's my son. It's my business if it's my male friend. It's my business if it's my daddy, if it's my uncle. But if it's a man trying to court me, if it's a man trying to talk to me romantically, like, I will always prioritize my care. I will always prioritize getting what I need. Okay? So I can't have so much empathy and compassion that I allow this man to mistreat me, to not show up for me, and I'm making a bunch of excuses why that is. I'm just going to point out to him, hey, you may not have the capacity, and that's okay. That's it. I'm still going to be compassionate in saying that. Hey, you may not have the capacity to date right now. You may not have the capacity to show up in a real way. You may have some stuff going on. You may not be completely serious. You may not be over your ex. I can name thousands of reasons why men don't have the capacity. But I'm not going to develop empathy and compassion to the point that I have to heal him and put myself out and understand his inconsistency and understand him not keeping his word. No, I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna send him on. And that's what most women do not know how to do. I keep telling y'all, nurturing is for babies, young children, your plants, and your pets. Okay? Y'all keep wanting to be the earth mother, goddess, nurturer. Not to no man you just met. Nuh-uh. Not to no man you just met, you ain't. Nope. Okay, Miss Di said, I had one tell me that he was not in a good place. That was my cue to leave the connection. It sure is. And think about it, y'all. This man is telling you to your face, hoping that you're going to go in the other direction. You do know that when they do that, they're priming you. They are priming you for some nonsense. Well, if she don't leave, I warned her. That's called informed consent. Like, I told her what it was, and if she don't leave, it's on her. And you know what? He's not wrong. He's not wrong. It is on you. I'm here to tell you it's on you. Stop doing that. All right? She said, to be honest, that's how men give out protection for women. He was over his ex and money issues. Women don't get protection if your value and virtue isn't known. Yeah, but see, you got to know it. You got to know it. A lot of women don't know it, and that's why they're not getting it from men. I know my worth and value. If don't nobody know the price, I do. But a lot of y'all don't know the price. And so you can't move in a certain way. You can't show up in that $1 billion price tag way. You showing up in that $4.99 and $10.99. That's you showing up in that kind of way. No, I show up in the $1 billion price tag every day, all day. I'm doing the best I can with what I have. I'm showing up as a woman of more high moral fortitude. Like there's a whole lot of things you ain't gonna catch me doing. That's just not gonna happen. I'm showing up in a way that, you know, when that loyalty is earned, I'm loyal, you know, all the things. I can be a lot of things, but again, I'm not giving it away for free. It's going to cost you something. And everybody know that it costs. It costs to be in a room with a woman of high worth and high value. It costs. And remember, it's never about money. It's about a whole lot of other things. But we need the healed men to come out of the house and at least look clean. Okay. And look, some of them, they are out of the house. But let's be honest. A lot of these men, they're Sigma men. So they're not going to chase you relentlessly like alpha men will. And they're not going to kowtow to you like beta men will. Like the Sigma men, they're very unassuming. Very unassuming. And a lot of women, y'all ain't feeling them. So, yeah. But if you over 50, you have to do the inner work. You have to. Because in my mind, you've lived, what is it, a half a century? You lived a half a century. And you out here doing what young people do. You out here doing dances on TikTok. You out here, you know, getting your relationship advice from TikTok. Getting your mental health advice from Instagram. That's completely unacceptable. And like I said, it's really disappointing to me because this is the generation that didn't grow up with the internet. We did not grow up with the internet. We did not grow up with smartphones. It's like we should know better, and yet we're not doing better. That's the part that I'm trying to wrap my head around. We should know better. We should be leading the younger people. We should be helping them to see that there are lots of things that our generation created that still have value. Like we still have a lot of value, and a lot of the things, the ways that we have has a lot of value. And yet you're letting modern day people, you're letting younger people throw all of that away. You're just, and you should hear these Gen Zs, these young millennials. Quit talking about the good old days. Quit talking about this and talking about that. We're done with all of that. Like they just want to throw it all away. Forget whether it worked or not. They just think that because it's old, because it's 50 years old, that it doesn't have value. Because it's 100 years old, it doesn't have value. It's sad. It is really, really sad. There was a young millennial girl who made a video, and I posted it to my stories, and it was all about how, 50, 100, 200 years ago, how beautiful everything was, and the craftsmanship of it, and the class and the style, and, things were just so beautiful. And she's like, now everything looks so like institutionalized. Everything looks so stark. It looks so flat and gray or white, just there's no beauty. There's no beauty in our architecture. There's no beauty in our buildings. There's no beauty in any of the things that we have. And she was right. Because again, the modern day people just throw it away. Like, oh, that doesn't matter. They just throw it away. If a man is honest with you, it's up to the woman if she continues to deal with him. But is she, don't complain about it. In life, we all have choices. No, you're correct. And like I said, I tell women that all the time. That if the man says, and I have a whole list of phrases. I say, if you say any of this, you about to be put through some mess. you about to be put through some mess. And so now I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the mess that's coming. Do you still want it? Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to be put through some mess. I tell them what that mess is. And I say, yes, this is called informed consent. Okay? They telling you what's about to happen. You are not a victim. All right? So, yeah, 100%. I don't know what to say. She said, I need to hear about the Sigma man. But don't complain about it. The man spoke his truth. Exactly. Our culture does not value wise, mature adults because most of the 50 plus was to be 25. Yeah, the modern day people, like I said, it's sad to me, but they wanna act like anything that happened before the internet didn't happen. That's weird. It's real weird. They feel like life began with the internet. So the internet, the smartphone, like, you know, that's when they think life started. And that is far from the truth. We were doing a whole lot of great things before the internet. Whole lot of great things. And, you know, we have to honor, right? Just like I honor my mom's generation. I mean, I think it's the greatest generation ever, quite frankly. I love my mom's generation. I love everything they stood for. I love the fact that, you know, we were at a 77% marriage rate in the Black community. I just love everything about it. And I honor that. I honor my elders. I look up to them. I listen to them. I learn from them. And the younger people, younger than me, aren't doing that anymore. They are like, nope, y'all are dumb. You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. And yet, and I be saying this, everything created in my generation, like every movie, all the music, it's like y'all keep copying it. So if it sucks, why do y'all keep copying everything that came out in my generation? That's what I'm trying to understand. Can you come up with some original ideas? Because y'all keep remaking every movie from the 70s, from the 80s, from the 90s. You just remake them in 2025. Come up with your own ideas. So that's what be tripping me out. Y'all swear we don't know nothing, but be steady regurgitating all our stuff, regurgitating our music, using it as samples. But it sucks. Why are you using our music? So it just don't make no sense. But just understand that you got to have yourself together. You need to have your life together. And, and I got to say this, I got to go ahead and step on some toes and get it out the way. You got to get your health together. Okay? And this is for the men and the women. That's the one thing that I'm going to be honest, the one thing that irritates me about Gen X. And it's like, yeah, if I'm being honest, it's the majority of y'all. It's not all of us, but it's about 70%. 70% of Gen X, y'all have let yourselves go. You've let yourself go. You don't exercise. You don't eat well. You don't sleep well. You don't go to the doctor. You don't go to the dentist. You've let yourself go. And you feel like, oh, well, I'm over 50. I can't do this. I can't do that. This hurt, that hurt. And God bless you if you had a hard, younger life. I have some acquaintances from school that when I tell y'all they lived a hard life, they lived a hard life. like, don't get me wrong. Your girl was experimenting. I was drinking some alcohol. I was experimenting with some drugs, but for the most part, I was never a consistent drinker. I was never a consistent like drug user. I didn't smoke cigarettes. Yeah, and I always was active. I've always been active and physical. I've been on the track team. I've been a cheerleader. I played rugby. So I've always been pretty active. I've always been physically active. But I got some acquaintances, y'all. I kid y'all not. I wish I could, and I'm not going to do it because somebody said, do it. Put up the pictures. I wish I could put up the pictures of the acquaintance and then me. Then the acquaintance and then me, like side by side. We are the same age. Like, I want people to see what 57 looks like here and here. Like, and you wouldn't believe it. You would not believe it. Like, good God, like, what is happening? And it's the men and the women. Y'all are not taking care of yourself. It's men that they ain't seen their Johnson in I don't know how long because of that big gut. That big gut, they can't see their Johnson. I assume they can feel it, they can find it, but they can't see it because of that big gut, because of those man boobs. And they just look tired. They look tired. They look like they had a hard life. I'm like, good God. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. That's why I can't, most of the men that I date, I can't do the men my age. I can't do it. I can't do it. And look, can I be real? I would have had to been with that man from 22 to now to like find him attractive. But here's the real, this is the real. You got to be a special kind of older person for people to still find you attractive, right? Because think about it. You haven't spent 25 or 30 years with that person. See, you build love and faithfulness and loyalty and attraction. See, all that is built in. So by the time y'all get older, you can look at each other and you can see beyond just the physical. So some of these dudes that try to holler, it's like, sir, I would have had to date you in high school. Like, for me to have any kind of attraction to you now, that's how much time I would have needed to build, to like build on that. But the fact that I'm meeting you now and you 56 or 55 and you look like this, like, nah, I don't find you attractive. It takes a special kind of older person to still be people find attractive. But y'all, most of the Gen X, they have let themselves go. They let themselves go. She said it's a lot of black that's cracking. It's not even that. It's okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. But they get a certain age and they think it's over, and they stop caring. And if I'm being honest, they didn't really care to begin with. And everything just go down. Everything. So that's my issue. Take care of yourself. Please walk, right? Sometimes it's as simple as walking every day. But exercise. And ladies, and I'm going to say this to the ladies, you don't need cardio no more. Like, your basic walking, that's enough, right? That's good. I'm here to tell you, you don't need, hours and hours of cardio. Guess what you need now? Once you're over 45, you need to lift weights. You need to lift. You need to go into a gym or buy you some weights or do some body weight exercises. You need weightlifting. You need circuit training. You don't need to just go in there and start running on a treadmill for an hour. No, your muscle mass is declining. That's why you got them flappy arms. That's why you got that flappy neck. That's the rolls, all them rolls and all of that. That's a lack of muscle mass. That's a lack of muscle definition. So not only are you fat, okay, you have fat that you need to burn, but you have muscle that you need to build. And y'all are not doing that. But watch what you eat. Cut out all these carbs. Cut out all this sugar. Stop drinking sodas and all these sugary drinks. Stop all that. Take care of yourself. People, like I said, they should see it in your skin. They should see it in your face. They should see it in your body. Okay? But if I'm looking at you and you look toe up from the flow up, no, your teeth, oh my God. How many men, oh my goodness, I got to go here. How many men have tried to talk to me or tried to date me and they're missing teeth? They're missing teeth. And if y'all know anything about me, that's the one area that I'm real funny. I'm funny about your mouth. If your mouth is not in order, I'm good. All right, y'all, we're going to try to finish this video. I got cut off because of the service. And it said I had $5, so I don't know what happened. But here's the last thing I'm going to say about dating over 50, right? Because I done went off on a tangent about 70-80% of y'all not taking care of yourself, okay? And that's a whole lot of people. But here's what this is the last thing I'm going to say, is have your life together, right? Have your life together, have your finances together, have your health together, have your body together. Be in that 20% of people that are over 50, and you will have endless options, right? So if you're a man over 50 and you take excellent care of yourself, you've maintained your muscle mass, your testosterone is doing pretty good on its own. You're naturally making testosterone. Or if you need testosterone help, but you're doing what you need to do, right? You're taking good care of yourself. You're eating right. You're exercising. You're lifting heavy. You've got some sort of thank you, Pure_Soul, for buying a badge. You've got some sort of control over your money and your finances and your home. You've got good control over your adult children. That's another thing. I'm seeing more, and this right here, I'm seeing more and more men, and I'm gonna call the men out. Seeing more and more men over 50 that have 3-year-olds, that have 4-year-olds, that have 5-year-olds. And if I'm being real, that disqualifies you from a quality woman your age. She is not trying to raise a 3-year-old. She's not trying to raise a 5-year-old. And look, I had some men say, well, I didn't ask her to do that. I didn't ask her to be my child's mother. I didn't ask her. No, but if she's going to be with you in a real way, your child is going to factor into that. Like, let's be honest. You're not going to hide your child from her for the next 15 years. That's not going to happen. If she's going to be in a healthy relationship with you, she's going to know your family. She's going to know your friends. She's going to know your child. And your child is a child. And most quality women, 45 and up, they do not want a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old. But I'm seeing more and more men. I had a man 59 just the other week, 59 years old with a 5-year-old. What are you thinking? But again, you listening to these red pill bros telling you to date women 20 years younger. And the part they keep leaving out is these women are still ovulating, dummy. I bet they didn't tell you that. Oh, yeah, date younger women. Yeah, you can do that all right. And you can also get them pregnant. You can also be a daddy at 60, 65. And let's keep it real. Most men don't want to do that. It's a oops, baby. It's not I plan to have a child at 61 or 58 or 55. No, I can call up 5 men right now my age, and if I said, what would happen if you found out you got a woman pregnant? They would darn near hang up on me. That is not something that they want to do, but it happens. So you can keep dating these 20 and 25-year younger women if you want. They are still ovulating. They are still bleeding every month, baby. They will have a baby by you. Okay? And then look. And then if you don't work that relationship out, that's the second question I asked him. Why aren't you with her? That's the second question I asked him when he revealed that he had a 5-year-old. Why aren't you with the mother? Why didn't it work out? Because that's the woman that wants the 5-year-old. The mother of the child wants, clearly she's okay with having a 5-year-old. But now you on my phone trying to talk to me, and I don't want no 5-year-old. That's a no-go for me. So y'all, again, life is about trade-offs. You may have a young, fine woman, and we're attracted to youth and beauty. Okay. I hope you're also attracted to changing diapers at 55. Okay? Life is about trade-offs. I keep telling y'all this, but nobody wants to listen. The men want to have it all. Yeah, those women want your money. They may want your seed so they can get more of your money. Like, why isn't the red pill telling you that? That, hey, man, you got to be careful about these young women. They want your money and they want your seed so they can have your money. Ain't nobody telling y'all that. He said, keep your mouth clean. Don't walk around looking like you've been eating raisins all day. Oh, Lord. Oh, no, thank you. So just understand, life is about trade-offs. Life is about trade-offs, okay? But get your mental health together, your emotional health together, get your finances together, get your house in order. I mean that literally. Make sure your adult children are in order. Let me tell you the other thing I see in the 50-plus crowd. I see a lot of adult kids returning home, living at home. I see a lot of codependency in these older men and women and their children, or adult children, I should say, their adult son and daughter. A lot of codependency. And just check that. And then lastly, this is the biggest thing of all, that, if you're over 50, you have got to consider that person's parents, okay? If you're going to come together, so if I were to meet and marry a man in his 50s, I have to find out what his mother and father situation is, because we're getting closer and closer to the day where we may have to take care of them. And same with my parents. He would ask me, well, what's the situation with your parents? Do they live on their own? Are they married? What's their health like? Like, I would ask those questions. I sure would. Those are questions you need to ask early on. And what is the expectation of this person when it comes to the care of their parents? Is the expectation, well, I'm the only son. And so if my mother ever needed to live somewhere, she would live with me. I'm her only son. So the expectation is that one day she's going to live with me, which means one day she could be living with you, ladies. So just understand that. Just understand that these are the things that we now have to think about. We have to think about the parents. We have to think about the adult children. You got to ask questions of that nature where, I didn't ask any of that when I was younger. Because like I said, it's way far off, right? But ask those questions. Ask questions about retirement. Ask questions about what this person, sees themselves doing above 65. Like, what does a retirement look like to you? I don't plan on ever retiring. So I'd have to be with someone that is also kind of passionate about what they do, and they don't technically see themselves retiring, just sitting, not working and sitting around doing nothing. That will never be me. I like what I do. I enjoy my work, and I see myself doing it until I physically can't do it anymore. So you got to ask questions like that as well. But I'm seeing a plethora of men having a bunch of babies by these younger women in their 30s. Y'all are with these women in their 20s and women in their 30s, and those women are ovulating. That's the warning I'm going to give you. Those women are ovulating. They can get pregnant. They can have children. And now you're starting all over again. You're starting all over emotionally, physically, financially. So just be mindful of that. Now, we know that's unlikely when it comes to women. You're not going to see many 50-year-old women getting pregnant. That's like a 3% or 2%. Most women by that age, we done. So that's something I'm noticing. You just, like I said, ask questions. Ask questions, ask practical questions, logical questions. Stop relying on the vibe, stop relying on the chemistry. Ask some really good practical questions. I always ask the question about, hey, how do you feel about having separate bedrooms? Because, I mean, I'm serious. I'm not playing when I say that. I'm serious. That's my ideal setup, is being married and having separate bedrooms. But, you know, again, I'm adaptable. I can easily, you know, compromise and sacrifice. I can adapt. It's not the end of the world. And you're going to need to learn how to do that. But I got a lot of older women friends. They're very stuck in their ways. They don't want to change. They don't want to make room for the person. They don't want to adapt. They have a certain way of going about their life. And if it don't happen that way, they go off. They have a tizzy. No, you have to be adaptable. And remember, the goal is, again, life is about trade-offs. So if I'm going to be with this person, and there's a lot of great benefits to being with this person, on the flip side, this is what it costs. That's what we need to do. If I'm going to bring this man into my life, guess what it's going to cost me? Sleeping alone in my king-size bed. And at that point, I have to determine if that's what I want to pay. Is that what I want to pay? Is this man worth it for me? Like, that's what everybody has to do. Okay? Everybody has to do that. Okay. Evolving_Lulu just gave us the story. Yeah, that's the saddest thing ever. That gentleman. Yeah, waited all that time to get married and have a child and died. So, and like I said, people are not taking care of themselves. There's no way that man should have been knocking on death's door at 57, 50. That's crazy. That's crazy. And look, when I was in my 20s, I told a client this yesterday in session. I said, yeah, when I was in my 20s, I used to think 50 was old. I thought 50 was ancient, y'all. And I get up in the morning and I'm like, I am 57. I am 57. I am back. And I don't feel nowhere near old. I don't feel nowhere near tired. I don't feel nowhere near done. Like, dang. But I did. I thought 50 was ancient. I was like, man. And look, I thought, yeah, once I'm 50, I can't have sex no more. I can't go nowhere. I really did. I really thought it was that bad. I was like, yeah, it's over. 50 is over. Man, please. Not even close. But just know you're going to have to be flexible. He said, we all thought 50 was old when we was in our 20s. Yep. But now I'm waking up. It's a new day. But you're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to adapt. And the more rigid you are, the less likely you are finding, you know, a partner that you can spend your life with. I believe it's possible. I'm seeing people in their 50s get together, get married. I'm seeing people in their 60s get together and get married. But you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to compromise. You have to heal the wounds and the traumas that you have. You have to have your house in order. You need to take care of yourself. I'm seeing it every single day. But the majority of us are not doing those things. And then you keep dating these people, men and women, y'all keep going out and getting traumatized over and over because you haven't learned anything. I see 50-year-old sisters that are yummy. Yeah, I'm just saying. Okay? Think about all your favorite black actors and actresses, right? From Love Jones and Love and Basketball and, you know, all of that. Okay? They're in their 50s now. Okay? Your Terrence Howards and your Nia Longs and your, what's his name? The boy from Love Jones. Yeah. Lorenz Tate. You know, we're all in our 50s now. And again, they have done a great job keeping up with themselves. That's all I'm saying. Keep up with yourself. Stop letting yourself go. I just don't understand that. I would never want to look in the mirror and hate what I see. I would never want to look in the mirror and see something looking back at me that I don't recognize. I can't stand that. So I don't understand it. But anyway. All right, that's my part 2. I got cut off in part 1 because I'm driving. But ask practical questions. Ask the hard questions, right? There are things you need to know from someone in their 50s that you wouldn't have asked when you were 20 or 30. And ask about retirement. Ask about, what their plans are for retirement, their financial plans. Those are the things you need to know in your 50s, because we're knocking on the door. Now, I don't plan on retiring, but we're knocking on the door. So you do need to know that, and you need to be flexible. You need to be open. You need to be willing to adapt. If you are rigid, if you don't want to change or grow or adapt to that new person in your life, yeah, you're going to struggle. You are going to struggle. Okay? But everything else applies. Ladies, you are going to vet a man 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. The vetting process, the process I teach my daughter, I teach my girlfriends. The process of vetting a man is the same. Okay? Nobody gets a pass. Nobody gets the benefit of the doubt. All right? That process is the same. Okay? Have a great rest of your day. My exit is coming up, but have a great rest of your day. Thank y'all for rolling with me. I appreciate you all. And as always, stay open to love.